Images of Saturn captured with a Canon DSLR in RAW format would be processed using ImagesPlus. And I'm going to use the image set operations to do this. Now, since I'm starting with Canon RAW files, I'm going to start with this RAW file development and conversion command. And I'm going to choose just 5 images, let's say. A real set would have hundreds and hundreds probably of a planet, especially from the Canon 40D, where it's really nice at taking images of the solar system because of the mirror being always locked up and there's virtually no mirror flap with that camera. So I'm going to start with just 5 files, raw files, and I'm going to convert them to color. And while this is running, I'll explain some of the other parts of this command. I can convert Canon RAW files, or actually any RAW files, from Canon, Nikon, Adobe DNG, Kodak, Olympus, Pentax. There's quite a few different types you can work with here. And you can convert them straight to color, or you can convert the RAW files to their raw bare format, which is before the image is converted into color. And you have 2 choices there: no white balance or at capture white balance, where the at capture is using the white balance that's set in the camera when the image is captured. And if you have a modified camera and set a custom white balance to automatically correct for the red bias of the modified camera, this option will automatically apply that while converting from the raw format to the bare format data. And then you have some output choices here. Generally, for the image set operations, I use compressed 16-bit fit because it keeps down the size of the files. Okay, it looks like this finished, so let's go over to the output. Once one of these image set operations finishes, you've got buttons here on the image set control tab that allows you to pass the image set on to another command. Now, they all have, that is, all of the image set operations have a file list button that you can use to look at the input files. And these are raw Canon files. And if you click on one of the output files, it'll actually show you the converted file. See, there's a very faint Saturn here. These are fast exposures with an 8-inch TMB at f45. Okay, so here's my input RAWs. Here's my 5 converted output RAWs. They're color. The next thing I want to do is I want to crop them, because Saturn really only occupies a small part of the image. So I want to get rid of all that area around it and just zero in on the planet itself. And to do that, I press the Crop Files button to send the converted raw files to the Crop Files command. So it looks like this now. Alright, well, maybe if it's so dark, maybe you can use like levels or one of these other commands to brighten the image to help you select the area that you want to crop out. Okay, that seems to work. Got 2 choices. I could crop about a fixed point, or I could crop about the area around the planet and automatically find the planet in the image. So if your tracking isn't very good and Saturn drifts like this across the image, this option will actually find the planet and put it in the center of this rectangle. And to define that rectangle, we can do it again here. You just left click and drag a rectangle around the planet that you want to crop out of each frame. Then you press the crop button. This will go through each one of those 5 images, find Saturn, crop them to the same size, and save that cropped file. When it finishes, the output options will be enabled here. See, so now we could filter it, resize it. Well, we've already cropped. Probably want to grade. And since I've only got 5 files, I'm going to just assign letter grades A through F. If you want to see the values, you can look here. A grade A would be above 90%, a grade B would be 80 to 90, and this grading's done on sharpness. So the sharpest image would be grade 100% down to 90% for the A's and so forth. All right, let's grade them. Now I've got my input cropped files. See, it's cropped, Saturn's in the center, and I have its corresponding graded file out here. This one grades at 100%. So I've graded my files. Next thing I want to do is align them, and I'd use the Align Planet option to send the graded files to the alignment command. Let's do that. Here there's really nothing to do. I mean, you can inspect the images if you like, but basically you just align them. They're now aligned, and the last thing, I want to stack them. So I want to press the Combine button. I'm just going to do an average. Okay, so that's how you'd process a set of several hundred raw images. It'd take longer, of course, if you had hundreds and hundreds, but the steps would be the same. Let's brighten this up a little bit so we can take a look at it. Now this is a stack of only 5. It doesn't look that bad though, actually. Let's do one more thing and go back and stack like 300 images that I've already cropped so that it won't take a few minutes to process them and only take a few seconds really. So I'm going to back my way out. Before I close each one of these, I'm going to press delete to delete the output of each one of the commands. I'll delete the graded files. I'll delete the cropped files. I'll delete the converted files. And now I'm really back to the beginning, but I do have that cropped stacked image that we just went through and created right here. See, so that's a nice way to clean up the hard drive after you're finished. Okay, let's do this one more time with a large set of cropped images. So what I've done is I've already run digital development here, file development and conversion on a set of 300 Canon RAW files, and I've already cropped the files down. So I'm going to start really with the grade portion. Each one of these image set operations assigns a prefix, and you can look on the image set operation itself to find them, or it's in the help file. Convert will add CVT, crop CR, align would be an AN or a ATSR, resize would be an RZ. They're fairly obvious. But each time you run an operation on them, they'll put another prefix on it. So here's Saturn that's been cropped after it's been resized. I'm sorry, it's Saturn that's been converted, CVT, and then cropped. Okay, let's select these 300 or so cropped files of Saturn. And we're going to grade them. And this is an actual run that you would do with like 300 files that have already been converted and cropped. I'm only going to keep the A and B images. So let's grade them. It'll go through all 300. I think we'll probably wind up with about 50 or so A and B images out of the 300. And those we'll then use to align and then stack. And you wind up with a pretty nice image of Saturn. This grade files, we're using automatic grade. You could, if you wanted, with a smaller set, actually step through each one and assign a grade manually. That's what the manual grade tab is for. But I find the auto grade works well. It works well with the images that I take, and I almost always use automatic grade. Okay, so what do we have here? We got 166 out of 300 were graded either A or B. Okay, well, let's align those. So the output of grade files is going to be sent to the align planet command. And then I'll press align to align them all. When that finishes, I'll have a set of 166 that I can stack. And again, when this image set operation finishes, these buttons will be enabled, and they're the next operation that you can send the output to. Here, since we're aligning graded files that have already been cropped, what we're really going to do is just press the combine button and stack them. Okay, combine. I'm going to do an auto-graded average, and this is going to do a weighted average based on the grade that was assigned to each file by auto-grade. So I'll select that option and just press combine. It'll stack all 166 of those, and we'll have a should be a pretty nice image of Saturn here. Let's brighten it a little. Okay, looks nice and smooth. It's displayed at 100% here. Let's sharpen it a little. Oops. Comes out being a rather nice image, especially for a DSLR, an older one. Now the new Canon 40D is definitely the best DSLR made to date for taking pictures of the planets or solar system, because the mirror goes up and stays up, and you only get a little bit of movement of the shutter, and mirror flap is virtually non-existent with that camera. Plus the live focus helps you in focusing the planets a lot better than the take a test image, download, and measurement that you have to do with the DSO stuffs. Okay, so that's processing a set of planetary images.